morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. And yeah. Uh, Man, I want to be clear. This was the longest weekend. I need a weekend from the weekend. I just want to say I've had my fill of crisis, trifling people, broken systems. I've had my fill. We're gonna talk about it this morning. Let me say good morning to the bros in the building. What's going on, J Rod out? How you doing today, sir?
Shell, well, I've been at church all day yesterday, so it's just the overflow.
The overflow.
It's the overflow from church, amen.
We'll take it.
Oh, my soul is still bubbling, amen.
That sounds so great.
Still bubbling,
My
amen.
soul is still bubbling.
Amen.
Well, good. What church were you at yesterday?
Well, I did a few churches yesterday. Amen.
Why is it yesterday?
Because that's my preacher's voice.
What accent is that?
That's my preacher's voice.
That's our preacher's talk?
Amen.
For where?
Yesterday.
Canton, Mississippi.
Way down yonder. No, but I'm doing actually, Shell, no,
What?
seriously.
Okay.
The sun is shining. It's going to be warm. It finally feels like the summertime at the end of
It's not
June.
going to be warm today, Negro.
Well,
They
it's
have
gonna be
issued
hot
an
as a
alert.
fool. Yeah, it's going to be Satan outside.
People's life is going to be in jeopardy today.
You know what? Hold
See,
on. Here we go.
bootleg weatherman.
So let me put
You
up my
talking about it's going to be
meteorology.
warm today,
Hold on.
and they talking
I
about
didn't do it for my meteorology.
no. See, this is why you can't mess with your channel
Meteorology.
because it's
Mano
folks
Candela.
might not make it today messing with your forecast.
Here we go. This is my forecast. Drink a lot of water. I mean, a hell of a lot of water. Drink buckets of water.
No, this is
Back to you.
that's it.
That's it.
Cancel his contract. Don't let this cat come on. No more giving out these bootleg weather reports. Folks in the hospital talking about Jermaine said
Drink water.
it was going to be warm
That's
today. Oh, my God. And I just want you to know, I saw people this weekend. They was like, you should do something. I was like, do what? About Jermaine. Do what? Do what? You know, I catch it just like y'all catch it. Do what? Like it's my responsibility. You should do something. Oh, his mom and daddy should have did something. Say got nothing to do with me.
It's too late.
Yeah. I just couldn't even get over it and said it with an attitude and walked away. You should do something about Jermaine. Do what? What is it that you want me to do? Hey, Clark Kent.
Who you with?
Man, evidently social services. That's who I'm with this weekend. How you doing, bro? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good.
Oh, really? Was it?
You know, me and the wife, we went to 7 Mile Fair yesterday morning. Had out there for about 3 hours. Then we rode up to Gurney.
Wait, you went to 7 Mile Fair? Was out there for 3 hours?
Yeah, we got them.
What was there to do at 7 Mile Fair?
You know, it was looking. I was just looking to see what could I see that I.
Did you see anything?
No.
Was your eyes open?
Yes.
Did you see
Look,
anything?
I've never in my life been to 7 Mile Fair. I've been like at the door
Yeah.
and didn't go in, and I've seen the commercials
7 miles.
and the little song Jermaine
Yeah.
keeps singing.
Yeah.
But I was like,
It's it's like I said,
it just didn't seem like. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a thrifter. I go everywhere. I'll
It's
go
good for
anywhere
that.
to shop.
It's good for that.
But I think after what was this thing, the old Sears building when they turned into that
the
mini 7 Mile Fair.
That was like a swap meet.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it ruined me. I was like, nah, I
That was like
can't.
a swap
I
meet.
can't.
And,
But you went to Gurney too?
Yeah.
Did I get something new? What you get?
Yeah, you know, I caught me some shoes.
Caught you some shoes.
I got notice he said me.
I heard him say that, but I'm gonna let him slide.
Me and my wife got a couple pair of Nikes. She never been out there, so I took her and we walked.
She had never been to Gurney?
No, she never been to Gurney.
Your wife ain't never been to Gurney.
Never been to Gurney.
Why?
Yeah. She had no reason to go.
Look,
Why?
I was about to be like, was she on paper? She couldn't leave the county.
No, she had no reason to go, but she enjoyed it though. She said, "We gonna go back again." I said, "Yeah."
What? Well, okay. All right. That's
got me some Cortez for $54.
And how much? Tell people, because
Cortez.
everybody won't know what Cortez
Nike
is.
Cortez.
Yeah.
And like 130.
And you were at the Nike outlet?
Yep.
Got him for 54.
Now,
you got him for 54.
Make sure that symbol ain't upside down.
Oh no, the symbol ain't upside.
Well, I mean, you know,
I'm a Cortez type of guy.
Oh, okay.
I will just tell people that most of the time, you know, you do have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because as I tell people about Coach, a lot of people break their neck going to the Coach outlet because you on the come up.
Yeah.
But Coach specifically makes product to go to the outlet.
Yeah.
They don't send it to their regular stores.
Right.
And you got to ask the question, why are these products specifically only for sale at the outlet? Is there anything subpar about these items?
And that's true because
a lot of people think it's, you know, like out of season stuff.
Right.
And some of it is.
Right.
But overwhelmingly, it's stuff that's made just to be sold at the outlet.
And that's true because I saw this cat. This is the truth. I saw this dude got a pair of Jordans. He said, but then he got from the Nike outlet. But when you look at the Jordan on his shoe, it looked like Jordan had like pom-poms in his hand. Like he had pom-poms. They had cheeks, and I'm like, hold on, man. Like why your Jordan strap like that?
Yeah,
Jordan strap with
I'm just saying, you gotta know, like it's frequently times if I go to the outlet, and don't get me wrong, because I shop at the outlet, but I know what I'm buying. I'm paying attention. I'm Googling on the Nike site, you know, the product and what I'm looking for. Yeah. And because it's not that it's not authentic Nike, it is. But again, Coach just done burnt me up on everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't buy nothing from the Coach outlet no more. Yeah. I just don't.
Don't it come with a certificate?
Yeah, no, it's real Coach. Okay. But like I said, it is made specifically for the outlet. And traditionally, people thought this is just out of season stuff. And you can get it down. Like at Nike, you can get a lot of out of season stuff at the Nike outlet. Right. That's why I ain't worried about Nike. But when Coach says, you know, no, this is specifically made for the outlet, it means you specifically making it for a cheaper market. And then I got to question, well, why are we doing that?
Right.
You know, because like I say all the time, you can't return nothing you buy at the outlet at a regular Coach store. And the tags are done. And somebody had done a post to show you how to read the tag. So you know that this was specifically for the outlet.
So why is that though? If you got it from a Coach outlet and they are connected to the Coach store, why can't I bring it back to the store if the store is closer?
Well, I mean, just because like some stuff truly is out of season, they're not going to carry it in the Coach store. They're not going to be able to move it in the Coach store. I mean, it's a variety of reasons to me that makes sense. Okay. I'll just be trying to tell people though that like,
and you know what?
It's something different.
And you know what? Now that y'all got me thinking, because when I was at 7 Mile Fair, the same Cortez I brought, they had them for $130.
Okay.
Right out there. So now it makes sense why they had only one size, a couple sizes. Because I asked them, did they have like 11 and a half? They said, no, we just got this size. So when I went to the outlet, now it makes sense. So they went out there, they got buy them from there for cheaper and then pay
and come back and sell them.
Yeah.
I definitely have seen that. People
Yeah.
go to the outlet and buy stuff and then come back and sell it for a higher rate at their own little stores and little whatever. So yeah. So there are a number of things to get to this morning. But somebody said it's the threading in the coach that the coach uses for the outlet. I think it's more than thread. I like, again, and I want to be clear because there's people gonna be hot with me. The quality is still coach, but I'm wondering what's the difference, because I pay attention to like the zippers, the straps, the way some of the straps is made, you know, even the quality of the material, you know. So I look, and I've never done the scientific put one bag up against another bag. I've not done any of that, but I just remember having this conversation, and I actually had a conversation with somebody who worked at the Coach store, who was trying to explain it to me. This was years ago though. But anyway, let me move on. So a couple of quick things. This weekend was really busy. Saw a lot of great people. Let's see, today is Monday. So Saturday we did the 5th annual concert series at Clinton Rose, and the performers were great. Spoken word from Ajimo Butler. But like, I got to get at him because like when he went on stage, he said, "Yeah, Mother Bryant." What? Mother Bryant? I was about to bust him in his face in front of all the people. I was like, did this man just call me Mother Bryant? Oh, dude, I was hot as a firecracker with him. He up here doing this little positive poetry. Like, no, you done messed up out the gate. But the band, Stone Jam Band, Star Red, and Michelle Pitts' grandbaby sung the Black National Anthem. And then her daughter, Tiffany Terry, Star Red, she performed. That girl has a really nice voice. Yes, she has a really, really nice voice and good stage presence. She did it.
Yes.
She did it. Okay. Well, all right now. Yeah.
Like old D.
You know what? I'll tell you, it is funny to see the brothers, you know, because she had on her cowboy boots, her shorts, and cute little black kind of leather looking top. And the little brothers just out there they never left the front of the stage. I was cracking up. I said, okay, bros. They never left the front of the stage. So she did a great job. And then Theo Huff out of Chicago, he and his band were phenomenal. The bands was cold. Like the musicians behind these performers, Star Red's band, them brothers, they was cold. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, they sounded so good. So that was great. Saw a bunch of good people from the community, met a lot of listeners to the show. And I will just say this. At the same time we had the show going on, Jermaine had called me on the way. While I was on my way to the show, to say, "Hey, Shell, I got a young sister here who has been asked to leave the place where she is staying. And she has a 5-year-old child. And, is there some resources? Can you, talk to her and let's figure out what to do?" So the first thing I did was ask her, is her phone on? Because just dealing with a lot of people in crisis, you got to be able to have a phone for people to be able to call you back, to reach you, to make calls, to figure out where to go. And her phone was off. So I said, Jermaine, get her phone turned on. I'll pay you back, but get her phone turned on. So Jermaine got her phone turned on. And then we do 211. 211 tells her, there's nothing that we can do for you today. Call us back on Monday. We call Sojourner. Sojourner said, is it a DV situation? If it's not a domestic violence situation, we can't take you. Um, the Women's Center, full. The Joy House, full. There was literally nowhere for us to have this young lady go. She had a 3 p.m. deadline that she had to be out of this residence where she was staying with her 5-year-old. So this young sister, she in tears now. And she was like, I got all my stuff and I don't know what to do. So now I'm at the event at Clinton Rose. So I tell her, go to the train station, go downtown to the intermodal station. I said, and just sit there. And people always got a lot of stuff with them moving back and forth. So you're not going to stand out. It's not going to look real crazy. Just sit there until I get done doing this show and we'll figure something out. So while she is down there, I am on the phone. I've enlisted another friend and we are looking, like, okay, at this point, I just need to put her in a hotel room until Monday morning and we can try to figure out if there's any place for her to go. But right now, I just need to get her and this kid off the street. And so we are looking and getting sticker shock because all of the hotels for a 2-night stay running $246 a night. I'm talking about like Days Inn, which should be like 60, 70, 80 bucks. 260, 265 a night, $400 a night. And I'm like, what is going on in Milwaukee that hotels not just in Milwaukee, extending out to Brookfield, Menominee Falls, all these hotels high as hell. And I'm like, what is going on? And so you realize, like, okay, it's Summerfest. I'm trying to think of all the different activities. But either way, hotels was a fool. Finally found one. This hotel ended up being like $500. So I called her. I said, I'm on my way. I got you someplace to stay for the weekend. But before I left, I told people because somebody had noticed that while the bands was performing, I was distracted because I was on my phone. And somebody said, what's going on? They could see something was happening. So when I went back up on the stage, I explained to people that we had a situation we were trying to deal with this young lady and trying to find her someplace to stay. 4 sisters. When I was out, I was trying to go to the bathroom, but I was speaking to people. 4 sisters, between the 4 of them, they handed me $140. One sister did a $100 bill by herself. 2 other sisters, 2 tens, and then a 20. And they said, here, put this towards whatever you're trying to do for this child. 4 sisters did that. And so I want the 4 sisters who did that to know that when I picked her up, got her to the hotel, got her situated, I put the $140 in her hand. And I told her it was from folks in the community who had heard about her situation. She started crying immediately because she had $64 to her name. Young sister has a job. Her child's in daycare, but she was staying someplace. And, the person wanted her to leave. They wanted her to get out of the house. Not from Milwaukee and had no family here, has no family here. And I said, if I get you back to where you're from, can you go to family? Can somebody help you? Don't have that kind of family.
Really?
No, really.
Don't have that kind of family. And so I just wanted to say this. First of all, it is ridiculous to me. And I appreciate, and I don't know all the circumstances. I didn't try to get all the circumstances. I don't know what happened fully, but what I did hear, it sounded crazy. But the fact that somebody tells somebody to get out with a 5-year-old kid in tow on the weekend, and you got to figure this out, child potentially sleeping in the street, sleeping at the bus station, all of that was crazy to me.
Unbelievable.
All of that's crazy to me. Whatever my differences is with you, I understand it's a child involved. And that there was nowhere to go. Like we are so strapped for resources in this country. You know, we cutting SNAP benefits. We cutting, WIC benefits. We're cutting services every day, but we got money to spend $400 million on a damn ballroom. And to pay your buddies, your cronies, your contributors money to go in and mess up a reflecting pool. And the fact that Donald Trump and his family have become billionaires during a year and a half of being in the White House. And that somebody would pay Melania Trump $25 million for that full video movie they made. But the people who need the services and the help, you on a shoestring budget. People got to do stuff together out the kindness of their heart to make sure folks got somewhere to be and to stay. Jay, you want to say something?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a tough one because just when I picked her up, I was doing Lyft on the side. And when I picked her up from the hospital. And
I forgot that part.
Yeah, I picked her up from the hospital. And when she, whenever got in the car, me, I'm always asking, hey, how you doing? And I heard it in her voice. She was like, I could be better. She sounded like she was crying. So I turned around. I looked at her. I was like, you okay? She just started boo-hooing. So I pulled up. I said, whoa, hold on. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Let me know what's going on. So when she got to talking, I'm like, oh, wow. So she just crying. She crying. Now her 5-year-old is sitting there, and I'm looking at him through the rear view, and he just got this look on his face. And so she just crying. And what touched me was when he reached over and hugged his mama and said, Mama, it's going to be okay. I got you. And I looked and I was like, oh my God. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, who can I call? Who can I call? Shell called you. Hey, listen, is there any resources, any way that we can help this young lady? But I'm going to tell you, when you got off the phone with her, she sat in the car and just cried and said, thank you. Because she said, I was praying to God that somebody helped me and I needed help and I didn't know where I was going to get help from. And here I come taking a ride to pick her up. So when she was talking and I'm like, she was like, I was praying hard and I just don't know where. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So when everything started happening and you asked her about her phone, if her phone was on, and because I didn't even know her phone was off. So,
because a friend had called for the Lyft.
Exactly. So okay. I'm like, okay, wow. So, okay, whatever, take care of that. But I want to tell you this. Milwaukee, we have an angel right here amongst us. This woman, Shell, took out time and made sure that young lady was straight. She didn't have to do what she did. And she went, crossed the ocean, climbed the highest mountain, and made it happen for this young lady. And I just want to tell you in front of everybody, you deserve your flowers. Thank you for what you did. And, I'm not a buttercup.
Yes, you are.
But I was almost in tears.
Yes,
but I had to suck it up. Like, what? Like,
well, I'm
wow.
in tears now.
Like, wow. But just to see this young lady here in the city, nowhere to go, no family, no friends. She was like, I don't know what to do. I work a job. I asked them, if they can at least let me go to work. They was like, no. So she was like, I don't know what to do. And I have my child. But I'm going to tell you this. This system out here,
I mean, and like you said, you look, the folks that are the closest to struggle are always being asked to do more, you know, and where can we cut and what can we take and what can we remove? And let me be clear. Two things, and thank you, Jermaine, for saying what you said. But it's two things. Number one, that's just how I was raised. You know, what you see in me, most of it is my mama. It's my granddaddy, you know. But the other piece of it is, and I've talked about it before on this show, I have been in situations where people have had to help me. And they did it unconditionally. Mm-hmm. And they made sure that me and my child were okay until I could make sure we were okay. So I understand I owe a debt. And I'm going to be indebted for the rest of my life. Atlas is okay. There is an Atlas because of the work and the things that other people did to make sure I was good. When my mom and them didn't step in, that they made sure I was okay. In some cases, complete strangers. So, you know, all I'm doing is paying back what I owe. You know, truth be told. Now, mind you, I done probably paid it back 20 times over, but it's necessary because you just and the people that told me privately at the event after I told this young sister's story, they said, I have been homeless too. Wow. Folks that was out there having a good time, enjoying the music, but they said, Michelle, I have been homeless too. And they gave me a list of places to try and resources. So I got to go to break. But when I get off the air, now the real work begins because she got to check out the hotel this morning. And we got to try to figure out if there's anything available for her and this child. We not out of the woods. So to Jermaine's point about the frustration, so many people needing help, but so few places to go. And the resources are limited. But we got money to tear down the wing of a White House and build a new ballroom because this idiot wants a bigger place to party and kick it. And in the meantime, we tell people we're going to reduce the amount of fruits and vegetables we give to children under 5 and pregnant women. Like, it's something wrong. It is something seriously wrong. And even in this town, it's something wrong. But let me go to a break. I'll be right back.
OV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So got some callers. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Michelle, I was gonna say, bring her over here where I'm at, and if you come in and talk with them instead of calling, because I know they're gonna say, like, go through the regular process of the application, which only take about 2 weeks. But if you bring her in and talk to Kim, she's on staff, the property manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so because they do have vacancies, but it's a process to get in here. But with that situation and you bringing her, it might work out a little different.
Even with the child?
Yeah, they got kids here. They got
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Here. Okay.
Yeah. And another thing, you are a very beautiful angel. I keep telling you that. Thank you, girl, because you do so much for all of us. You do. I really appreciate you. I love you, Doc.
Bye, Solis. No, that's great information, and I will definitely follow up. All right, let me go to the next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle.
Hey.
Let me get you off of this.
Okay.
That's sad. That's very sad to hear. You know, like, I remember coming up, and it was a place. It was always somewhere, a place a person can go here in Milwaukee, and that's bad. Like, the late woman. I mean, man, like, today there's so many low income housing that, I mean, sure, it should be no problem. You know, they go, whatever, she worked a job, whatever income is, they should pay. Here it is. but we got all these gatekeepers, and they want to allow people to know this information out here, and we got young individuals like that homeless. And the girl got a job and a child. That's normal. But not having a place to stay is not normal. But we do things for people that don't want to work or just sit around and collect these. I ain't gonna even go there like that. I ain't gonna go.
That part.
But it just I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then like for that baby just to be like, see that? He don't understand it, but he feel it.
Yeah, he feel it, bro. Yeah.
He feel it. And that's bad.
No,
That really makes me feel like what is our government really doing? Like, you're right. This dude, this knucklehead, all that money. I remember when we used to get $400 million here in Milwaukee, you know, for the city. But since they done this little share thing, we don't even get half of that. Not even a quarter of that. There's so many schools that's empty. Some of them schools could be home.
Come on, man. I was just saying that, man.
Again, I don't like to talk about nobody, but our little mayor, like, dude, he messed up big time. He messed up big time when he done that. I mean, get your butt up, go to Madison and tell them, look, no, whatever y'all doing, we gotta stop it. We need our tax money. I'm a fisherman now. And so I go to every county in Wisconsin. I'm all over this place. I done been places where it wasn't nothing but land. Now it's apartments. I mean, they living. And they living off our dime. And that don't make no sense to me. We the biggest city in the state, but we the poorest city as in neighborhood wise. My boat, I love my boat. That's my daughter. I went to go fishing Saturday and came out on Dean, where it's supposed to be housing for individuals like the young lady, and broke my axle. Coming off of 75th and Dean. Broke my axle right there. That's embarrassing.
Wow.
I should be able to just roll out and don't have no problems. But y'all got barriers up and ain't nothing being fixed. I mean, I should walk and step in one of them holes and act like I done broke my ankle. That's how deep the holes is.
Wow.
Yeah, these streets are ridiculous. Like many of them. It's just, I have never seen our streets look so bad. You're absolutely right about that, bro.
Kudos to you about help take care of that young lady because, like I said, it used to be, I mean, it would have been a problem back in the days if she didn't have no place to live. And people would have got on people's necks about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. You know, Jermaine mentioned her son, and so did the brother. And I'm gonna just tell you, you know, he went to sleep on the backseat of my truck when or my vehicle. I always feel funny calling the Jeep a truck, but anyway, he went to sleep on the back seat, and so I woke him up when we got to the hotel, and we hadn't been in the car for a long amount of time, but he went to sleep. And Jermaine had said they had been at the hospital that morning because, you know, all of the stress of everything had made her sick. So they had been at the hospital. So that little boy had been up all day, all morning. And so he got on the backseat of that car and he just went to sleep, man. So when I woke him up, and this dude is 5, but he weighed like Jermaine weighed. This little Mack truck, I mean, and handsome, cute as he could be, but he was so heavy. I did pick him up, but when I was pulling him out the car, I was like, come on, man, you gotta wake up. He was so heavy. And it felt like, later I thought about it, that little boy slept like he had the weight of the world on his back, on his shoulders. And so as they got to the door and they were walking into the side door of the hotel, he turned around and he looked back and he said, thank you so much. And I was like, oh, you all right? You know, I said, yeah, you good, little man? And he was like, thank you. So to the point that this baby seeing stuff,
You know,
and understanding stuff he ain't got no business seeing, no business understanding. And it just messed with me the whole time. So I'm gonna take this caller and I'm gonna end this piece. I'm gonna, hit some other things, but I'm gonna just say this. Families are not like they used to be.
yeah, and that's the scary part.
For a variety of reasons. I understand. But first of all, for those of y'all that got good family situations, and I don't mean perfect, but I mean y'all communicate. People can mess up and still be in the family. We make room for folks when they in crisis. Thank you. Man, thank you. Because it's easy to throw your hands up and walk away. And I know it's people that will test your limits to the end of time. And it's some situations, it's not safe. You can't stay here because you're about to put this family in jeopardy because you're doing some stupid stuff out in the streets. Somebody come through, shoot up this house. We got other people in the house. I get that part. But some situations, just frustration alone, we all struggling, that still does not rise to the level of a 5-year-old child having no place to go. It just does not rise to that. We have got to figure out a way to be more tolerant. How do we not turn our back on people? And how do we make this stuff work? Because I really wanted to ask that woman who put them out, how the hell you sleep in the night? Man. Knowing that it's a 5-year-old kid out here on the streets right now, not knowing what's about to happen to him. How you lay your head down and get a restful peace? And the girl, she don't seem out of order, but I don't know the story. But whatever the story is, it's a 5-year-old child attached to it. Let me figure this out. You got to get up out of here, but I'm gonna help you get up out of here. And I'm gonna give you time to get your stuff. I don't know. But all I gotta say is that it's crazy that was the situation. And it's crazy that we don't have some place for people to go. Like the way I told Jermaine during the break, the way we have warming centers in the wintertime. You can't stay there, but you can come here tonight and sit through the night. We didn't even have no place for her to sit through the night until you figure it out, just to make sure you're not out here in the streets in the elements. And this morning, when I get off the air, this is the first thing I'm getting ready to do this morning. So let me catch this last caller and then we'll switch gears. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Hey, Michelle?
Yes, ma'am.
You got my number. This is Kathy. Let me know what you need. I can help you, okay?
All right. Thank you, Kathy.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, there's a hotel on 6th and Lapham. Give them a call, and then you can call me. I can talk with them. I know them personally. See if they can help out under $100 a day. And then the other thing is that we need to reach out to a landlord that got something. But the thing is that she don't need a hotel. If there's any rooming houses, there's some on the south side. That's about a month, So if we can collect money from the radio station, instead of everybody giving us what they had many years ago, dig into your pocket. You don't spend money for the holiday. Everybody got at least $25, $50 to hit Michelle with this, okay? Because she's going to need other things besides just a room. So the rooming houses, they might have went up, used to be like $450, $600 a month to at least get us started on something, okay? We need to put some money down, not talk about back in the day, okay? And the city need to do this. The city ain't doing nothing in the next 24 hours, so we need to get this girl a place. So she needs some stuff. I can help out with that. If she needs some extra clothes, let us know what we need to do. We can go to the Goodwill, whatever, get her and her baby some stuff. And we need to get a rooming house if we can find one. Not on the east side, they all went up more. If we can get a rooming house or something for her, that'll be cheaper than anything else. And it's going to be hot out here.
I got it. I got
the hotel
you,
over
Kathy.
there on 6 is good. On 6 and Walnut or by the airport, they're usually under $100 unless the prices went up. I haven't checked in a while. So I had to do this for a couple of people once before. So we need to put some money down to help this young lady out. I'm going to tell you another one. Y'all grandparents out here on the phone, tell your young kids to stop, and I don't know what the story is about, stop looking for love online and coming up here to a city where you don't know nobody, and then a man or woman, whoever puts you out. Because this happened several times. I ran into several people like this. Okay, I helped somebody out the weekend at a resale store. He came in because he seen a sign saying $5 for discount items. He had 2 boys with him and a little girl. The little girl needed some stuff because social service brought the kid to him. I bought the little girl 2 pair of pants, a shirt, a hat, and everything. Okay, I did that. It didn't cost me much money because it was all half price off. Okay, so I just bought it for them because I had a birthday last week and my birthday money was over $300. I said, well, no, I'm gonna treat them. You can pick up what you wanted. And then they wanted a little baseball hat, and I got it for them. The girl was very happy. She wanted a little dress also. So I bought that for them. Okay? So let's just get that straight. We got some money out here. I'm just asking, please. Can all y'all hook Michelle up? Whatever you just call me, Michelle. Right now I got about $100. You can come down to my job. I'll give it to you, okay? I'm just telling y'all now, we need to all help out. We're all going to have a good holiday and spend some money. So let's just donate some change right now.
Wow.
Okay, I'm just saying that. I hear everybody on the phone talking about that happened 20 years ago. What's happening now is what we need.
All right,
I got you, Michelle.
Thank you, Kathy.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And let me just say this, and I did not bring it to the radio, to ask people to help. That's not why I brought it up, even though, right now Clark just handed me something. Man. My barber, Big Bo, just said, hey, I sent you something on Cash App. The situation just was so awful to me. Man, okay. It was just so awful to me. And that, we still got to deal with it this morning. And I see people, like a number of people who always show up. I see y'all right now tapping out. Hey, LaToya, I see what you just did. Thank you, sis. Just thank y'all. That's all I can say. It's just thank y'all. Because we all done been there, and if you haven't been there, you need to be thanking God every day that this is not your situation and your story. All right.
Wow.
Okay, so somebody put in the chat that there is a hang on, let me see what this is.
Wow.
Oh, so this was crazy too. I'm just gonna mention it. I ain't gonna mention no names, but I'm gonna mention it. This is crazy too. About failed systems. That's the reason why I want to mention it.
Yeah.
So while I'm out this weekend, I'm talking to someone who I see all the time. They support us at the station, come to everything. I see them all the time. And it was something a little off though. And I was like, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? And they ended up telling me about a family member that they have who's in the hospital, needed some care, didn't have insurance money. Doesn't have insurance. And they had to be able to demonstrate to the hospital that they could provide medication for the upcoming month before they could be released. And this individual, fixed income, she was like, so I'm working on it. I got a portion of it, but I'm working on it. And I was like, well, how much more do you need? It was not a lot of money. So I was like, here you go. Go ahead and take care of that. She literally just texted while I've been on the air to say that she talked to the people. She said she met the financial obligation and they were released yesterday because they wouldn't release them from the hospital because you had to be able to demonstrate, like, whatever this medication is, you needed to live. Oh. And so, so the first 4 weeks of the medication is now covered and paid for. But like literally, and I thought about that, like, so I'm accruing a crazy bill. I'm uninsured. So I'm accruing this bill every day. The amount of money needed to cover the medicine is reasonable, but I can't pay it. So I'm going to accrue $1,000 a day probably on a hospital bill because I don't have the few hundred to be able to take care of the medication requirement. Like, when I tell you stuff is crazy out here. But I'm going to tell you this too, because she didn't have to mention that to me. And she did. When you in trouble, let people know. Say something to somebody. You don't ever know where help will come from. A whole bunch of y'all walk around and don't nobody know what's going on with you. You trying to figure it out on your own. You falling under the pressure. You making yourself sick under the pressure. Say something. Even if the person who you're talking to immediately can't do nothing for you and you're not asking them to do something, but get it off you. Say something, y'all. And that was just a 5-minute conversation. That's all it was, a 5-minute conversation. And luckily, I had it on me. And I was like, go do what you need to do. Just take care of that. And so she just tapped in and said, we good. Say something, y'all. All right, I gotta take a break. I'll be right back.
With your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. Let me just say, first of all, I didn't say good morning to my folks on Facebook and YouTube. The number of you that have weighed in to talk about this issue. I have folks on here saying that they have been homeless. Someone said I was homeless for 2 years. Somebody said cancer and homeless. You know, I even thought about Charlie Wilson when y'all was talking about he was on the stage. And, you know, Charlie recently had suffered the stroke. But Charlie was sleeping on a park bench. You know, you of Gap Band fame. And he ends up sleeping on a park bench and had to be at some point taken to a hospital because he was laying there about to die. You know, so it could be any of us at any given time that can go through. So I just, like I said, thank you to people. Somebody making sure that we know that today there is a meeting at 1:30 at City Hall regarding the Midtown development and what's supposed to go on with that. I have not had time to get at that, but somebody got to ask the question because, again, I said this last week when I was on air, the way it has been explained to me is that development is tied into that data center or whatever you want to call it, computational research facility, whatever in the world little name you want to give it, that if that piece is not allowed to move forward, the development does not move forward. I need somebody to explain that to me. How is the smallest footprint of the development going to stop the whole thing from being done? If that is true, that means it's something way more at play than we are being told and we understand. It's something much bigger going on if the smallest part of the project can derail the whole project. And I've had a number of people who were at the meetings that said, no, Michelle, that's the way it was explained to us. That's what we heard. So if I got this young lady's situation straightened out by 1:30 today, I'm going to see if I can go down to this meeting so I can sit in the room myself and hear what's going on, because I really want to understand how this project is unfolding at Midtown. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Michelle, I have a doctor appointment this morning, but anyway.
I saw your text, Elise.
Good. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you, babe. All right, so let me just say this real quick too, because somebody put in the chat that we need to vote. And I just want to say I could not agree more. A couple of things real quickly. That bill that Trump and the Republicans, you know, crammed through, that whole nonsense about the big, beautiful bill, just the most ignorant, policy-oriented name of a bill, piece of legislation you've ever seen in your life. But one of the things that they did in that bill was to introduce massive cuts to Medicaid and to SNAP, directly reducing what's going into low-income households. Like, these people got a plan for everybody else to, you know, we want more from you from this, more from you from that, but less is required of the wealthiest people in this country. I remembered having a conversation with the brother after Juneteenth. And I think I recounted a little bit of that. And he was saying that he had lived in another city. And he said, I'm not Democrat or Republican. I look to go wherever somebody got the best bill, best policies. He said, and I do see a little bit of what these folks be saying, that folks be out here trying to get over and game the system. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, like in Milwaukee or in Wisconsin, you don't pay your utility bill during the winter. But in other states, and he mentioned Texas, I think, your stuff gonna get cut off. So why don't you just pay your bill the way you're supposed to? Because we can't get roads fixed. We can't get, the potholes and da-da-da. And I said, bruh, one don't have nothing to do with the other. I said, that's a privately owned institution. We Energies is privately owned. That's not fixing your potholes and your stuff that's going on in your city. I said, but we don't have the same kind of weather in the winter that they have in Texas. So people could die here if their utilities get cut off. But the other thing too, it's a system that's in place. And yes, I may not pay my bill through the course of those months, but eventually I got to pay it because April 15th is coming. But it's a system. But you're not mad at the rich people who work the system to keep from paying their fair share of taxes. We have millionaires and billionaires in this country, some of them who pay no taxes because of the system and the loopholes and the protections that's put in place. So you're not mad at the people who don't pay their fair share on millions and millions of dollars, but you're mad at the person who trying to figure out how to put off paying his light bill so they can keep the rent, or that they can get the car fixed, or that, they can pay for school clothes. That's who you hot with. You hot with the folks who don't have nothing, but in the meantime, the rich getting richer and robbing us daily. I don't hear no smoke for them. I hear smoke for people who have the least. And that's the way people set these systems up. So it's members of the legislature and at the federal and the state level, they'll have you hot to trot, talking about some people on welfare, just posted up, getting over. But you ain't got nothing to say about all these wealthy behind people who do not pay their fair share in taxes, because they got great tax accountants. They got legislators who are working on their behalf, making sure they get all the tax breaks in the world. But you mad with the person making less than $20,000 a year. You hot with somebody making $30,000 a year, but you ain't hot with somebody making $30 million a year. Just think about the inherent insanity of all of that. And literally out calling other folks trifling and schemers and blah, blah, blah. But you ain't calling the people that got 30 and 40 and $50 million who not paying nowhere near what they should be paying. They not schemers. They not trifling. They're titans of industry. I mean, like, come on, y'all. And people fall for the okie doke every time. You got people who have little hating other people who have little, and thinking you have little because those people are over there. No, that's not how this works. But we have people that are masters at redirection. I want y'all to be mad with the Haitians. That's who y'all need to hate. The Haitians. What Donald Trump say? They're eating your dogs and cats. Don't be mad at me. That has become so rich since I've been in the White House that it's a scandal. All that little mess they talked about with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, and did somebody get access to a meeting? They ain't never said no money in terms of Joe Biden getting rich. They said, did he take a meeting to help his son? When Donald Trump's entire family is raping this country blind on some money. These people are going to be set up for the rest of their lives off this little tenure, this second time around in the White House. So we got to take a second and appreciate that. And since I brought up the Haitians, let me take a minute and talk about the Supreme Court. Jesus, if a Democrat wins the White House back and they can get control of these houses of Congress, you got to expand the Supreme Court. You absolutely have to expand the Supreme Court, because what the Supreme Court just did in relationship to immigrants coming to this country who are coming here because there is something going on in their country. It's war torn. Just like think about Venezuela right now. Venezuela's had this horrific earthquake. 1,500 people right now they know are dead. They just literally pulled a 13-day-old baby and the child's mother out from up underneath the rubble. But this place, they got 2 earthquakes back to back. I think they said within 40 seconds of each other. It was something crazy. And the devastation is just life-changing. So some of the people from Venezuela would be like, look, everything is torn up in our country. Can we come to America while, this is being sorted out? And there were people that were given temporary protected status. You come from Haiti. It's a lot of upheaval, political violence, people being assassinated. We had, kids, girls kidnapped, people being murdered. And so folks are like, yeah, it's buck wild where y'all from right now. Yes, you can come. Let's look at the Jewish Holocaust. You had, Nazi Germany, Hitler, everybody doing all this crazy stuff. 6 million people are killed. Folks coming here seeking refuge because right now, anti-Semitism is so crazy, during this period that it's not safe for you as a Jewish person to be in some of these countries. You were able to come to America. But in a 6-3 ruling that the Supreme Court just did, they favored the Trump administration's policy to let them basically ignore or put an end to temporary protected status situations. So how many people potentially are impacted? There are 350,000 Haitian people who live in this country that are here under protected status. 350,000 people. 6,000 Syrian immigrants are in this country under the same type of situation. So what they have done is now put the Trump administration in a position to be able to strip away work authorizations. These people could be deported out of the country. But there are communities in which these people have been here now for years. They are embedded. They pay taxes. They contribute to our tax system. They work jobs that a lot of times people don't want. They are a part of the country. But no. So I want to be clear. We can bring in white folks from South Africa because they under some type of oppressive regime in South Africa. But the people that are already legally in this country, we can now deport because we don't want y'all here. And, so it got a little heated between Sonia Sotomayor and Alito, or Alito, I say Alito, here in Milwaukee, because in the dissent, that was Elena Kagan, who they talked about, like, do you understand if this was in place right now, back in the day during the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust, these people wouldn't have been able to come into our country because of the other thing that the Supreme Court did, which was to say that folks seeking asylum here can be stopped at the gate. You trying to come in legally through this country. So you go to the border patrol checkpoints and they literally can turn you away before you ever get to apply for asylum. That's the Jewish piece. That's the Holocaust piece. So I blended two policies together around immigration. But that's what the Supreme Court just did. That's madness, y'all. So how do I apply for asylum then? What America has said is we not open. Unless you white and from South Africa, and the president can fly you in on Air Force Two. You like somebody special. We're not open. Communities, Black folks, people of color don't come here. Universities are already talking, and I got to take a break, but universities are already talking about right now, like, hey, we losing millions and millions of dollars because foreign students come to our schools. One school said $45 million is lost now because of the president's program about immigration and student visas. The harm that is being done. And you think about that, you got a Supreme Court enacting and exacting their racist agenda in support of this nonsense. Y'all, we gotta vote. And one of the conditions of our vote for president need to be whoever gets our vote for president, if you don't agree to expand the Supreme Court, don't ask me for my vote. Because the harm that these people are doing is crazy. Let me take a break. I'll be right back. And what's at stake? I'll be right back.
With your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family. So before I get this caller, I want to take a second and acknowledge that the wife of Minister Louis Farrakhan has passed away. Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, she was 90 years old. They were married for 72 years. And she passed away, I think, this past Saturday. And so a statement was released. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, with deep sadness, yet with profound gratitude to Allah, informs you that his beloved wife of 72 years, the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah, has returned to Allah. The statement reads, "We thank Allah for the precious life of a loving wife, mother, a faithful, devoted follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Mother Khadijah will forever be cherished and remembered. May Allah give his unequaled comfort to the family as we mourn this tremendous loss and lift the family in our prayers and thoughts." She was born in 1935. She wed Minister Farrakhan in 1953 and later converted to Islam in 1955. As Farrakhan rose to become the leader of the Nation of Islam, she was by his side, serving as a stabilizing force for their family. The couple raised 9 children. At the 1997 Million Man March in Philadelphia, Mrs. Farrakhan took to the stage just as her husband did when he organized the 1995 Million Man March in Washington, D.C. Quote, "A nation can rise no higher than its women," is what she said. "We focus on women, but we cannot lose sight that we must rise as a family, men, women, and children." Heartbreak has befallen the Farrakhans on several occasions in the recent years. The couple's eldest son, Louis Farrakhan Jr., died in 2018 from a heart condition at the age of 60. Another son, Joshua Farrakhan, died in 2023 at the age of 64. So funeral arrangements have not been announced yet, but I certainly wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of Minister Farrakhan's wife. And then let me send out a personal condolence to one of our regular listeners, Brother Yusuf Buckley down in Racine. His mom also passed away. She passed away on Friday. She was a listener to this show. And Minister Della Buckley down in Racine. So just want to make sure that we acknowledge those individuals that have passed away. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm listening to the show this morning, and I heard all the platitudes coming your way about the Good Samaritan that you played. That was a great thing. But you know, there's probably all kind of social workers. There's another part to that piece that's probably listening to this show, and they got their nose on the ground this morning, trying to find or want somebody to talk. You know, because the baby, the security system of the child. So I hope y'all do whatever y'all can. I get a chance to, I'll drop something off to you or send it some kind of way. But that's some social worker, some wraparound, some guardian ad litem, somebody, they listen to the radio. So they wonder, oh, where we can help her. But we already know that mean vicious cycle system is that little baby is in danger. You understand? Because that system is something that I fight almost every day. Every time I get a chance. But going back to the asylum piece. Now listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. The whitey already know that he's in jeopardy. Okay? And he's pushing back. And if we, as we so good Samaritans, that we want to allow people to come in, and we remember it's only 45 million, and that's what we can count. Might be more. I mean, it ain't that much more. It might be less. I'm hoping it's more. 45 million of us in this country, Black American people, and it's 62 million Hispanics. We don't know what well, I'm sure that I don't even follow the count for the Indians and the Arabs, but they're silent. They're sleeping cells in our community. They growing fast too, boy. They growing real fast. And guess what? They are having babies, 90 going north. The problem is with the border being open on that down there, when they open it, well, girls were being assaulted and sent into the country already ready. You know, that reproductive manufacturing system that most women have. They were getting them pregnant at the border, sending them right on in here. Bam, drop the baby right here in our hand. Man, you got to take care of that baby. But we got a woman and a little baby that's on the streets. But we is talking about taking care of the folk. What we need to be doing is pushing back on it. We better push back on it because we numbered now. It's almost over. As soon as they get good in Congress, them Arabs, man, and they get good in there, and them doggone Hispanic people, they gonna put their foot on the black man's throat. We gonna wish Whitey was still running it because they gonna do us in. So what we better do is push back as much as we can. And I don't know, I drop $100 bill off of somewhere, try to catch you before you leave the station. At least put some. I might put more than that on it. Let me see if I can shake some people pockets are loose and help them with another hotel or something, or somebody got something to put these kids, because that baby is in danger. Social service is listening. They thinking, oh, we can help them. The whole CHIPS program. You know how the CHIPS workers come in. You know, you say you work for the system. They gobble that little kid up, man. That little mama be sitting. It'll take 100 years for her to get that baby back, and she can do everything right. They just don't want to give them back. So the slave catchers got their nose, their dogs on the ground this morning just by listening to this show. But I get a chance, I'll stop through there. I see you. God bless you.
All right, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Let me do this too. Last week before I got off the air, somebody said, Keon's birthday is coming up. And Keon and Mark Wade, I believe, actually share a birthday. And so I see somebody mentioned it in the chat. I certainly was going to mention it before I got off the air this morning. For folks that are, newer to the show, may not know, some of the historical stuff about the show. When I'm sitting here looking across from Jermaine, I used to sit here and look across at a really big head brother Just the biggest head in the world. And I don't just mean like a physically big waterhead. I mean, what it takes Keith to talk about how Keon would say, I'm talented and gifted. I am talented and gifted, blank, 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 blank. And you fill in the rest. The thing that's so crazy is his Facebook page is his Facebook page is still up. It's active. Is a picture of the family, his sister Tyra, his mom, Miss Carolyn, his baby sister. And folks are on the page posting, saying happy birthday, happy heavenly birthday. Pictures, people putting up pictures of him and them together. Folks talking about they missed him. They missed his intellectual conversations. He was deep. He definitely was deep. Folks simply saying you are missed, thinking of you. Superman. One post just says Keon. That's all it says. It's Keon. Your impact is still resonating today, Cuzzo. Someone else said. So tons of people acknowledging that this brother's birthday, June 28th. I just was with his sister. I think it was on Friday. No. I was with his sister over at Green Tree Preparatory Academy for their graduation program over there. So no, y'all, it's not forgotten. It's just one of those things. I was telling somebody, let me look on my phone right now. Hang on. I talked to Keon so much that, when you look on it's right there. Look, you see the initials KM? I talked to Keon so much that his name will not drop off my phone's algorithm yet. So at the top, the people I talk to the most, my son, my brother. Why is Jeanette Herrera name up there? Jeanette Herrera. But Keon stays at the top and in the center. It will not move out of the algorithm. All of this time after this brother has passed, his name, that's how much I had to talk to him. 2 years? 2 years, I think. It has not dropped out of my algorithm. So I just, he just ain't one of them easy ones for me to talk about. I can't ride past Atkinson Park and not think about him. And quite honestly, there is a chair at our kitchen table that was his chair when he came. Keon would come to our house when we wasn't there. I just want to be clear. Keisha's parents would be in the house. Keon would be, I'm at the house. Or we pull up and see the truck outside, like, hello. And socks, shoes off. Had the whitest socks you ever seen. White socks parked up under your table. And Keisha said Keon is in my favorites and he won't go away. On the algorithm. But so yeah, y'all, it's still one of those. That's one of the harder ones that I've dealt with. And so yeah, I see everybody saying happy birthday to Keon. Let me go to the phone line. Hey caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mr. Ryder, thank you for getting me in. Who you with? That other big shot that's back there, if he's there today.
His waterhead is up in here too.
Yeah. Briefly though, Michelle, my question is, what has, other than immigration, what has the Trump administration done for the American people?
Well, it depends on which Americans we're talking about, because the wealthy have gotten wealthier for sure.
Well, we know about that 1% at the top. I'm talking about the 99% below that. What has he done for us? That's number one. And why can't Congress collaborate and come up with a immigration reform? That's the work of the Congress, correct?
It should be. Yes, sir.
Okay, it should be. And then the next thing is, I just was on T-Ray page. He took a picture with you and Lakeisha, and I let him know. I said, this is an awesome picture. I'm stealing it and putting it in my photo gallery.
Okay.
They're my favorite people. And since you briefly mentioned it, which wasn't part of what I wanted to talk about, was shout out to Mark Wade's neighborhood friend, Keon Jackson Malone, and my little brother Chris. All share the 28th of June as birthdays. So that's pretty awesome. And then my next thing is, did you know that there was a black woman included in the Boston Strangler when the Boston Strangler was going on? Albert, what was his name? Albert Sorrow, when he was killing the women in Boston. That there was a black lady.
I did not. I'm looking for it right now.
Right. Her name was Sophia Clark. I recently found that out, Michelle. That there was a black woman. Her name was Sophia Clark. She was 20 years old.
I see. She was 20 years old.
Never out of all these years, and I remember when all this stuff was going on. As I got older, I was a youngster in 1962. But I remember the talk, and then as I got older, they talked about it in history and all of that, mass murders or whatever you want to call it. But I never knew that there was an African-American woman involved in that. Two more things, I'm going to let you go. My mind been busy over the weekend.
All right, go ahead.
Clyde Davis recently died, right?
Right.
You know who Clyde Davis is, right?
Of course.
The audience know who Clyde Davis is. He would have been 94. He was 94. Born in 1932. And my thought as I sat in the car and I listened to people call in and talk about how great Clyde Davis was. Well, my dad was born in 1932. And I'm wondering how disadvantaged my dad was against what Clyde Davis got when he was younger. Because I remember my dad telling us about how he worked the fields from sun up to sundown. I wonder how much a part of Clyde Davis' life was like that. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is because this is what I think about the administration that's going on today. They're going to choke us out, Michelle. And what I mean by choke us out is that they're going to cut off all our resources, our health, our SNAP, anything that we would depend on that they call progressive movement or whatever they call it, where they think that the Democrats just want to give their people that follow them free stuff. But they're going to choke us out. The rich is going to take over things. They done already did the DI thing. And now we're going to be so dependent on the government that we're going to have to do what? How are we going to survive? How are we going to survive if they choke us all the way out? They cut off our health insurance. The example that the young lady that said that she had to get whoever was in the hospital, she accumulating a $1,000 a day bill, but it only costs $200 for the medication. Where you balance that out. So in the end, who are we going to have to really depend on to survive? They're building bigger prisons. They're doing all this other stuff. Lastly, I just want to say, I knew a long time ago when I called the radio station and I heard your voice, I rushed up there and I believe I brought you some Tessie rolls. Whatever your favorite was, Michelle, I rushed to the station and brought it up there. And I've been following you ever since. And I have some Christian friends that's faithful in the church, and they doing all the stuff that they do. But I know a lot of them don't have the heart of you, Michelle. I was told in my recovery days, I need not hear what you say. I just need to watch what you do. And you one of them people that we watch what you do. And that's why you can mention something and people start contributing to whatever cause that you're trying to support. That's an awesome thing. I take my hat off to you. I appreciate you. And finally, to my mother, who's going to be 89 years old, Louise Howard, to my 26th Street family, Christ the King family, to my Facts Over Philly and Dorian. Love you, young blood. My little nephew. You guys, y'all do an awesome job. I'm gonna continue to support y'all, and I'll find a way to make some kind of contribution to this young lady, and we can uplift her and let her know. And the last thing I want to say is, remember, Michelle, as we lift this young lady up, there are predators out here.
Right.
So we can't just find something to throw her out there and think she's going to be, because just like we're trying to advocate for her life to get better, it's somebody that's going to try to use her as prey. Y'all, love y'all. Y'all be well.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And thank you for all the words. All right. Look, he made me have to go look up two things. I looked up the sister who was a part of the Boston Strangler situation. Didn't know it was a sister. And then I looked up Clive Davis as well. Clive Davis's background, it was not easy. You still get different opportunities though. But Clive Davis is Jewish, for folks that don't know. And his parents died when he was a teenager. One died, and then the mom died first. Dad died the next year. And he was raised by his sister. He finished out, living with his sister. And, goes on to go to school, eventually goes to law school. So he starts out as an attorney. But we know, even with that degree of hardship, because I'm sure if you talk to Clive Davis, he'll say, hey, it wasn't no bed of roses. We still know that those opportunities become limited when you talk about a man of color born in the exact same time frame. You don't want to compare. Evidently, some people saw the post that got put up where I talked about them ending the minority student loan program here in Wisconsin. And I said that a Thai person, of ethnicity coming to this country, if you think you entitled to the same things as Black folks in this country, you wrong. You dead wrong. And for people who don't think that they owe, you wrong. This has never been dealt with. As we celebrate a 250th, anniversary of this nation's founding, this country has never dealt appropriately with slavery and what they owe. They've never done it. And it was people who got upset about that. Hey, that's not my problem. That has nothing to do with me. Because I'm not wrong. So to the brother's comments about what life was like for my dad versus a Clive, even though Clive suffers hardships, there are still some distinct advantages by not having been a Black person. By not having, because you got to say something unless you are of a particular sect in the Jewish community where your appearance belies your religion. You got to tell somebody you Jewish. I ain't gonna tell nobody I'm Black. And for you to decide you hate me and you want to harm me. Somebody got to see your last name to potentially know you Jewish. Don't nobody have to see my last name to potentially decide they want to hurt me or be racist against me. So, people get hot with you, but the truth is just the truth, man. Let me catch this last caller before I get out of here. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Brother Rod. Hey, you had mentioned something, I think that was at Juneteenth that you spoke with a gentleman. And I've heard that analogy before. But as far as what I know about the Republicans or conservatives, all they know how to do is take things away. Because he said he goes, well, who's going to give whatever, give the most or whatever, something like that. And that's all I know that they do is take things away. And that he want to criticize people about energy assistance, something like that. But the Trump administration is robbing this country blind. But people don't seem to say anything about that. They're steady enriching themselves each and every day, Elon Musk and those like him. But there's nothing said about that. And to our brother Meach, speaking about the immigration, and I'm a black man, and where do you think I fall on that spectrum? They're not just going after those people. Well, where do you really think you fall on that spectrum as far as the people that are attacking, that's been in this country for years, and you know they've had children. So what happens to the children that were born in this country? And I just don't understand how some black people can just support this administration and the things that they're doing because of a person of color or whatever. You know, I don't understand it. And like, so where do you think you fall or we all fall on that spectrum? You know, if they're coming for them, they're coming for us. You know, that's just how I look at it. So thanks for taking my call. I know you got to get out of here, and you take care and have a good day.
All right. I appreciate it. I appreciate the call. Yeah, when we have the ability to understand, you know, everybody deserves a shot at happiness. Everybody deserves, you know, to be safe and to live in a way that they are not in fear of their life. And as I said, people had to take us in coming out of the end of slavery while we were enslaved. People, you know, Canadians opened the country so that we could come there. I mean, it's just amazing to me that Clarence Thomas mess. You know, I used the ladder to climb up, and now I'm gonna kick the ladder away so nobody else has an opportunity to do that. The only thing I'll say is that we as people, black folks, can't lose sight of the fight. And I'm going to be talking more and more about it as we are leading up to this November election. But y'all, I need y'all to talk to y'all families, because black folks is on the menu on this November ballot here in the state of Wisconsin. And Republicans have put us there in terms of banning anything that takes race into consideration in relationship to the state, education, you know, wherever the state has their tentacles. There are things that have to be addressed along the lines of race because the harm was done along the lines of race. So if you don't want to vote for these candidates, cool. Even though these candidates are the ones that's making these decisions. But don't let November come and go. And they was deciding to do a law, to change the Constitution, to amend the Constitution in a way that permanently harms black folks. And you didn't show your behind up and you didn't say nothing about it. We'll talk more about it in the days ahead. I'm going to end the show. Not, as always, not the show I planned, but I guess it was the show that was necessary. Thank you, brothers. Clark, thank you. Jay.
Indeed.
Ride or die.
Hey, thank you.
You know, it's so funny. When Keon left here, it was like, you know, you selfish. And you always be like, man, what I'm going to do without this dude? Yeah. But having you come to the team, it was just like, you know, folks made sure, no, good folks still here.
Well, you know.
And then you start talking.
Then it was over.
And it's like, damn. But at least me and Jermaine don't argue. Because Keon was about to get his head cracked in here 100 times. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.